Hey guys, this is me, Elias the Rapper Animator 2K3 here, or you can call me Elias D, whatever you guys want to call me. I just want to let you know that there's going to be a huge change which comes to my short series, and that's one of them is actually not releasing them on Wednesdays. But before I get into the main topic of this video, I'm going to explain why there has been a huge downfall, like why there was like a huge downfall in my schedule and everything, and I'm going to be going to that now. So one of them obviously is personal reasons. And obviously I've been had to deal with a lot of real life stuff and everything and adult stuff. So I've been really busy. But and not just that too, but last week I had to go through a lot of beat last week I had to go through a lot. And not just that, but I had to go through a lot last week. A lot of BS last week. And this led to the point where I almost delete one of my videos. So last Monday, this was like on the last week of January, I had a birthday video scheduled to premiere for one of my friends, Vanessa. I currently have no thoughts on her at this point because her behavior has been like really immature though, and she keeps like forcing people to like do a request and such. But I'm not gonna go into full details about what she did because that's drama related, and I kind of want to bring that up. But I still wished her a happy birthday, and I did give her a little something. So besides the point though, the video was going off okay though, but towards the end of the video, I started going into topics about like into topics. I started going into topics I wasn't really supposed to be discussing about. One of them is that I started going into topics that I really wasn't supposed to be mentioning in that video, which was very personal, and I which what and those reasons I mentioned in that video was very personal, and I was supposed to keep that to myself before even establishing that. So first things first, I mentioned about my curfew that the curf I mentioned about my I mentioned about my curf I mentioned about me being under a curfew to where I can't stay up for a certain amount of time when that is considered personal information when I'm supposed to be keeping that to myself and not addressing that anywhere on my channel. And then towards the end of the video I started giving out my family's business and all that stuff, and it got to a point that my mom had to told me to delete the video like 15 seconds before my premiere ended. So, and this wasn't the only time this happened though, but this actually happened several times before. I mean, one of the times happened during my hate base in 2020 in September, and also in like May and several of those months, but I'm not really going to go into that since that's already a dead topic and that already happened like 2 to 3 years ago. And this also happened in 2019 as well, so I'm not really going to mention much. So back to the point, my premiere was going okay. I mean, there was a lot, like at least 10 people watching the premiere, but towards the end of my but once I was closing up the video and once I started saying my lines saying this is me, Elias D, signing off, yada yada yada. Once like the second my video went straight to my outro before my video ended, it's like which was like 30 seconds before my video ended, my mom told me to delete the video because I told me to delete the video because like once my video got straight to my outro before my video stopped premiering completely, my mom told me to delete the video because I gave out my family's business in it when I was actually supposed to be keeping that to myself and not exposing it and not giving out personal information about what goes on in my family and such. And one of my former friends, Pac-Man and Roblox fan 5000, did make a really good point about that too, because he did say that I'm not supposed to be mentioning on YouTube about what goes on in my family and such, and mentioning about topics like about them getting sick or anything like that, like where I'm supposed to be keeping that to myself and not mentioning anywhere on the internet and stuff like that. So, and he did make a really good point that I shouldn't be giving out too personal information about what goes on in my family and such. and also like mentioning about me being under a curfew and such to where I can't be up for a certain amount of time. And me mentioning about my curfew in that video still counts as personal information because it involves you like mentioning like how you got put on curfew and all of that. So that still counts as personal information though, and I wasn't really listening to his advice when he asked me not to do stuff like that, and I still did it anyway. So because of that, I my mom told me to delete the video, and on Discord I was not on in the and I was not and my mom told me to delete the video, and I was actually not in a really good mood on Discord for almost an hour because of that though, because I was kind of like I was actually not, but at least I didn't like go on my status and start like raging and such like what I did in 2020, because at least I can like control my anger and everything, just so I don't do that type of stuff. But that's not related. But besides the point there, I thanks to my friend MJ who obviously records my videos. He did show me. I mean, however, I did, however, keep the video up, but I had to have my friend MJ help me like trim out, trim out like the personal stuff in my. I had to, like completely trim out certain scenes in my video where I mentioned about my mom, about my mom and the curfew thing, and also completely remove the scene where I mentioned about my family and such when I was supposed to be keeping that, when that still counts as when that's personal and I'm supposed to be keeping that to myself, like what Jacob told me on several streams and Google chats, so and Discord chats, excuse me. So and it's kind of my fault for not listening to him. I should have listened to him, especially when my hate base was going on back in November. Um so and this wasn't the only time this happened though. This happened like several times before. One of the times happened in 2020 where I mentioned about where I uploaded a video like announcing about my school schedule and all that when that wasn't really necessary for me to make that into a video. I don't know why I made that into a video in the first place. And also to add on to that, I also was mentioning talking about the wildfires and the wildfires and mentioned like what state it took place in, and one of them actually mentioned my home state and my home city in one of my videos, and my mom had me completely delete those videos if any of you remember that, since I did make a video about this last year for the same reason. And even though me and even though me and Jacob are still distanced from each other, although he still hates me though, but I did have to owe him an apology for not following his advice regarding me like me giving out personal information on my channel. But back to the topic though, this wasn't the only time this happened. This happened several times before. Obviously, back in September I had to delete most of my announcement and rant videos, because in one of my rant videos I did mention this in 2019 as well. I actually mentioned my babysitter's name in that video, and also mentioned about what I did to her son, but that was personal information. I was not really supposed to get that out. When that was personal, I wasn't supposed to get that out in the first place. So, and I'm glad I took down that video and trimmed it out. But I'm actually going to be deleting that video entirely. Like I mentioned before in my latest video, if you have not seen it yet. And I did post a video about this on Monday too. And I did post a video about this on Monday as well. So I gotta see. But again, I do regret not taking his advice, though I should have did that though. And obviously you already know what happened back in and obviously you guys already know what happened back in May 2020 when I got called out for, and when I got my very first hate base ever in this community. And like I said, I'm not gonna mention the reason because that reason is controversial, and I kind of don't really want to bring that topic up since it's already a dead topic now. But and and most of you already know that when I was making when I actually did make a video like exposing myself for what I did though, but that video actually did end up not getting premiered, even though it was actually set to premiere at like around 8:45 though. But my mom immediately deleted the video while it was premiering, and I know most of you saw one of my videos about that. I know most of you saw one of my recent videos or community posts about that at the time, but I'm not really gonna, like I said earlier, I'm not gonna bring that up because, like I said, it's already a dead topic and that already happened at least almost 2 years ago. So, but I do regret doing that though. I mean, I don't know why I did that though. And also, months later, also, months earlier, it's like a month before we went into lockdown because of COVID, I actually got into hot water for getting advice from like a popular Go animator I'm friends with to like, hide something from my mom and such, which I got in a lot of trouble for, but I'm not really gonna go into full details about that. But Um, I mean, we even though me and her, me even though I've been friends with that certain user since when I first subscribed to her channel in 2016, and she is a Go animator by the way, and I've been watching her videos for several years, but she has been gone from the community for like at least almost a year though. I mean, but I still watch her content though. Her content's really good and mediocre, so. That's anyways back to the topic of the video. um and then obviously I did mention this before, but in 2019 I had to delete my completely remove my October 2016 rant for the same because I meant because I mentioned about me having a 101 8 at school and such. When I mentioned about me having a 101 8 at school and such, when I was supposed to keep that to myself as well. And I also and then also towards the end of the rant I also mentioned my babysitter and everything, and her son, when that was completely unnecessary. My mom did punish me for that, and she did have me delete that video. Thankfully none of my stuff were taken away, but I was not really unacceptable for me to do that. Even though that already happened 3 years ago, but I still regret that to this day. And that was also one of the reasons why I deleted most of my rant videos 2 years ago. So, and that, so I don't really pay attention to that. Next will be most of my announcements, but I'll get into that. That's a topic for another video. So, with that being said, um, even though I did mention a little bit in the in my Spies, Detectives, and Bradley episode about about what happened, but it wasn't related to what I mentioned earlier in the video about like the whole curfew thing and everything. So at least I left that out of the video. And I only gave out the specific reason onto why I was going to be working on my videos a little bit early as planned. Not gave out the specific details about it, because dang well I do not, and you already know dang well I do not want to delete a Spies of Detectives video or Bradley video. For one of the times I was forced to. Um, one of them was by my mom, and one of them was actually by one of my former friends. And this was back in December, and that was because he didn't really like how I made, and that was due because he did not really like how I made that made that video to where I had one of my besties like Strawberry. How like because he didn't like the fact how I made that video because he said that he said I made that video where Strawberry were like giving like giving her him and his girlfriend lectures and advice to not take his girlfriend, I mean, him and his girlfriend to not take me too seriously for what I've got hated for in November last year in 2020, which was brought up in 2021 of November. And he also said that I tried to make him and his girlfriend look bad when I made that video. So I almost had to delete that, and I almost had to delete that video because of it though, but that situation already got resolved. So but the video is gonna stay up though, but I will have to trim out some. The video will remain up though, but like with my video on that birthday video I did for Vanessa that I had to trim some scenes out of, I will also be doing the same thing with my Spies Detectives video. I will be trimming some scenes out of the video instead of deleting it. I did kind of get used to the trimming tool a little bit on YouTube Studio since, you know, MJ was the one who helped me do all that though. So that's no reason why this video was not deleted, like when my mom asked me to. So the video is not deleted though. It's just I had to like trim out some scenes to where I mentioned the details she wasn't really want me to do. However, I kind of slightly mentioned it, and however, I did kind of slightly mention it in my Spies Detectives video, which was that Spies Detectives video I released on Friday, where Strawberry and her crew are in downtown Atlanta, taking down all the suspects and goons, roaming around the city, and then one of the suspects they're taking out is actually going around the city throwing like smoke grenades, Molotovs, small bombs, and all of that stuff into like buildings and such. And Strawberry and her crew have to like work together to like stop all of them before they commit like some sorts of terrorism and stuff. I'm not really gonna mention this further because I don't want this video to get demonetized. But that's basically what happens in the video. Strawberry and her crew just goes and take those people down and actually confiscates what they and then Strawberry and her crew actually not only puts them in handcuffs but confiscate what they were going to destroy the buildings in Atlanta with, like with Molotovs, like I said, grenades, machetes, and all that stuff. One of the suspects actually tried to use a machete in episode to assault someone, but I'm glad I never showed that because I don't show any of that type of stuff in my videos at all. But this was a really good episode though. I mean this wasn't a really serious episode based off a really serious topic, and despite the fact that February is also Black History Month, and I kind of wanted to like have the series focus more on the Southeast, more on the South, which is where history, where the African American history originally took place, because you know the African American history with like the Rosa Parks and everything all took place in the South. So I kind of want to make my videos mainly focused on Black History Month, since you know this month is Black History Month after all. But the crew will be going back and forth in each episode. They're supposed to be going to Vancouver next, then Quebec City, but they're not gonna be, and then they're gonna be all over the place. So, but I'll get into that topic in another video because I don't want to make this video too long because it's almost a 20-minute mark. Sorry if I'm wasting time. So, with that being said, and yeah, so like I said about Friday's episode, Strawberry and her crew like take out all the suspects though, and then they confiscate a lot of weapons from them. They like one of the weapons from them like Molotovs and all of that stuff. And I did not show any of that in episode because I didn't want my video to get demonetized or flagged or age restricted because I didn't want my video to get flagged and age restricted or demonetized for that, so I didn't show any of that in video. But that I'm just letting you know what they all had before any of you saw Friday's episode. And towards the end of that video and Sunday's episode is where I mentioned a little bit about why I was going to be releasing my videos a little bit early as usual, or a day early. So I kind of went into like details into the reason why, but I will be looking into those videos later, and because my mom did make it really clear that I wasn't supposed to be making a video about like my as far as like what she does to me and everything, like as far as like what I like curfew or stuff like that, or getting grounded and stuff like that, because all of that stuff is personal and that's something I'm supposed to be keeping to myself and not put it on the internet for everyone to hear, like what Jacob told me several times in several other live streams and also group chats. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. I kind of want to make a video addressing this, and I do owe an apology to my mom and Jacob for not listening to them. I kind of, messed up my career there. But like I said earlier, though, I'm gonna get my other shorts out now, and there is gonna be a new episode on Friday though. But they're actually gonna Strawberry and her crew are actually gonna be having that weekend off. But Strawberry and her crew will be having that weekend off for the Super Bowl, so Friday's gonna be a normal episode. Sunday's episode is gonna be a little bit different though, because I'm not gonna actually show them going to the Super Bowl, because I have been having issues with like my wrapper offline and the assets lagging on me and such. Because I have been having issues with wrapper offline and with Jack's assets completely effing on me and such. If any of you did not see my latest video about that, so due to his assets like completely lagging my computer and lagging my wrapper offline and such, that's one of the reasons why I'm not going to be making my Super Bowl special into an actual Super Bowl special, like how how my friends Cat Neon Party City and other of my friends are doing it. It may be made into just a commercial, because next week I am going to be making a very special video for Strawberry when she goes to go see her celebrity on me and my friends take her to go see her favorite celebrity on her birthday, but that's going to be released next week. So I just want to let you know and let everyone know what's going to be happening. But if any of you want to be in my short series, just send me your XMLs on Discord. Just don't ask in the comment section, because I have been noticing that YouTube has been filtering comments, and I've been noticing that, but still. Anyways, I apologize this video is too long. I kind of want to get everything out, and if any of you want to make my and keep in mind too that my Valentine's Day special will only be 3 minutes long, or 5. And that episode is actually going to be mainly focused on the Go Animators. And by the way, I will be deleting most of my videos where I mention like the personal stuff and everything, and I will be doing that once I get most of my other projects done by the end of today, after this video is out. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace. You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises, you know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never